Hey everyone, welcome. We're going deep today, diving into the biblical stories of Jonah and Jesus.
And their stormy adventures.
Yes. Now I'm sure these stories are familiar, at least a little bit, right?
Right.
But there's these fascinating parallels between them. They tell us so much about faith and obedience, even how to weather those storms life throws at us. Metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, and what's amazing is how these stories, even though they're centuries apart, they still resonate with us today.
Yeah.
Because we all face storms, right?
It's so true. Who hasn't felt that panic? Like your world is about to capsize. It's a universal experience.
It is.
So let's start with Jonah. Quick recap. This is the guy who really did not want to listen to what God had in store for him. God told him straight up, go to Nineveh, preach against their wickedness. And Nineveh, they were notorious for their wickedness.
Oh.
But Jonah, he's not about that. He decides to jump on a ship going in the complete opposite direction.
You can't outrun your purpose, though.
No way. Especially not when it's divinely ordained, which is where this intense storm comes in. And this isn't just your average thunderstorm, right?
Right.
This is a direct consequence of his disobedience. God sending a very clear message.
A wake-up call.
Definitely. And the scriptures paint such a vivid picture of this storm. You've got sailors terrified, praying like crazy. They even start casting lots, trying to figure out who's to blame for this whole mess. The tension is palpable.
I can only imagine.
And it makes you wonder, how would you react in that situation?
Right. And that's where Jonah's character really comes through, you know? In that moment of complete desperation, he owns up to it. He's like, it's me. I'm the reason for this storm.
Yeah.
And get this, he tells them to just throw him overboard.
Wow.
Can you imagine knowing you're the reason everyone's in danger and that the only way to fix it might be,
Your own demise. That's a heavy decision.
It is.
So they do. They throw Jonah overboard. And instantly, the sea just calms, like flipping a switch. You can't deny the power in that moment.
Definitely not it.
But there's more to it, right? This whole sacrifice thing. It feels so significant, like it points to something bigger.
Oh, absolutely. Jonah's willingness to be sacrificed, to basically pay the price for his disobedience, it really foreshadows this hugely important theological concept, atonement. And we see this most powerfully in the sacrifice of Jesus.
Okay, hold on. Before we jump to Jesus, explain atonement for a second. What does that even mean?
So think of atonement like making amends, restoring balance after something's gone wrong.
Okay.
Jonah really messed things up, and he was willing to pay the ultimate price to set things right.
That makes sense. So how does Jesus calming the storm connect to this atonement idea? So we're talking about atonement, this idea of making things right. And I'm curious how it connects to Jesus calming the storm. That's in the book of Mark, right?
Yeah, it's in a few of the Gospels, actually, but Mark's got a good version. And it's interesting you bring that up, atonement, because we see another side of it with Jesus.
Okay, so set the scene for us. Where are we? Who's there? What's happening?
All right, so we've got Jesus and his disciples, and they're sailing across the Sea of Galilee.
Which can get pretty rough, right?
Oh, yeah, known for sudden, crazy storms. And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what kicks up. And this is important. These disciples, they're seasoned fishermen. They know the water.
So for them to be scared, it had to be bad.
Exactly. But there they are, totally terrified. And what's Jesus doing? Sound asleep. Can you imagine?
Just completely unfazed. It really highlights that contrast, right? Between the chaos and his peace.
Yes. And you can feel the disciples panic. Teacher! They're shouting, don't you care if we drown? Like, hello. A pretty relatable human response, I think.
Oh, totally. We've all been there, that feeling of, do you not see what's happening here?
Yes. And that's what this story is about. It's a test of their faith. Do they believe Jesus can calm the storm? Sure, maybe. But do they trust he will? Even when it seems like he's totally checked out? That's the question.
It's easy to believe when things are calm, but those moments of chaos, that's where your faith is really tested,
Exactly. And that's where Jesus' response is so amazing. He gets up, and with just a few words, peace, be still, everything goes silent. The wind, the waves just stop, like hitting a pause button on Mother Nature. And the disciples, well, you can imagine,
are terrified to awestruck in about 2 seconds.
Exactly. It's this undeniable display of authority, not just over people, but over creation itself. This isn't some teacher calming his students down. This is the power of God right there. So Jonah, he pointed towards atonement through sacrifice, but Jesus, he embodies it, calming the storm not by being tossed in, but by his power over it.
Okay, so we've got two storms, two very different characters, but this thread of atonement running through. What I'm curious about is this, what else connects them? What else can we learn from these two facing their own stormy situations?
That's what I love. These stories have so many layers. But one thing that really stands out, they both use the image of a boat in a storm. This emphasizes how vulnerable they are, the raw power of nature. And honestly, it's a reminder for all of us too.
We're all susceptible to those storms of life, the big ones and the little ones. We're all just trying to stay afloat sometimes.
Right. And that shared experience, it's what makes these stories so powerful. Because they're more than just stories, they offer something deeper.
Hope.
Yeah. Hope, definitely.
Okay, so let's talk about that. We've got these parallels, the storms, the fear, that divine intervention, even this idea of atonement. But how does it all apply to us today? What are we supposed to take away from all this, especially when we're facing our own storms?
That's the question, right? And what gets me, these stories, they give us this incredibly practical wisdom. It's like a guidebook for not just understanding our storms, but actually getting through them.
Okay, I like that, a guidebook. So break it down for us. What's in the guidebook? What are the practical things we can take from Jonah and Jesus and actually apply it to our lives?
Well, first and foremost, God is in control. Even when it feels like everything is falling apart, He's still got it.
So even when we can't see it, even when we don't feel it, He's working it out.
Exactly. And, Jonah's story, trying to outrun your purpose, trying to avoid the tough stuff that just makes things worse.
It's like hiding from your problems never actually solves anything.
It really doesn't. But when we align ourselves with His plan, even when it's hard, even when it seems impossible, that's where peace is, even in the middle of the storm.
That's way easier said than done, though. Surrendering to the plan, especially when fear takes over.
It is. And that's where those disciples come in. Remember, they were terrified, even with Jesus right there with them. They doubted, they questioned.
So human, though, right?
The most. But their fear, it made them cry out to Jesus for help. And that's what we need to do too.
It's that trust fall. You just got to believe someone will be there to catch you.
Exactly. We're never alone in those scary moments.
Yeah.
We've got a God who's all-powerful, but also completely compassionate. And He's waiting for us to call on Him, to let Him be our anchor in the storm. And here's the best part. Even when we mess up, even when we doubt like the disciples, even when we run away like Jonah, God's mercy, it's bigger than our mistakes.
That unconditional love, that grace that says, I see you and I'm still here.
Yes. He offers second chances, new beginnings. He gives us the strength to face the storm, the wisdom to navigate it, and that peace that surpasses all understanding, even when it feels like the waves are going to crash right over us.
That's a powerful image. Wow. And, listening to all this makes you think, if we're all in this metaphorical boat together, navigating life, who are we sharing our boat with? Who are we supporting? Who's supporting us? Just something to think about. And on that note, thanks for joining us for this incredible deep dive. We'll see you next time.